about you were beginning the process of transitioning at UCLA.
Yeah, that was quite an experience. Probably the one of the most monumental experiences of my life. I'm so grateful for them there. They're just wonderful people. I got pre-approval from Medicare for the reconstructive surgery on my face, and I had it all the way up to the day of the surgery. And I went in and got surgery, and then after the surgery went incredible. The team of uh, surgeons there, they're just under Dr. Lee is she took a CAT scan of my skull,
Hmm.
and then she superimposed the a CAT scan of a woman's skull similar, and then she just shaped the face. Like she went in through
Wow.
the gums, and
Wow.
she shaped the jaw and the chin, and she went up here and then she removed this bone, and then she shaved down the bones here because men have this kind of
Yeah.
it's like a
Skull, frontal skull.
Neanderthal ridge. Then she pulled the hair down a little bit,
Fair enough.
and, and
Yeah.
she did something with the eyes. I'm not sure what it was again. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
but she
how
wouldn't do.
long? Yeah, sorry, finish and then
Go ahead,
I just want to
go.
know like how long was this surgery? This sounds very, very involved.
Oh yeah, it was like hours. I don't know, long surgery. She has so many. She's a pioneer of this approach. She's pretty famous for it, and she has all these interns. There must have been 6 or 7 of them, of these really bright UCLA interns. There's amazing people that were there, and I really felt cared for. I felt like a professional athlete with a whole, you
Team.
know, the team behind you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't lose.
Yeah.
Again, is that I'm on your side feeling.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And then
They
after the surgery, how long was the recovery process for you?
oh, long. Yeah, probably uh, about a year, half a year before I started looking a little normal. There's the stitches went away right away.
Mm.
Um, the the numbness in my under here in my in this part of my mouth and in here, that took a few years
Wow.
and to go away, and also for the taste to come back, because
Oh,
yeah, they'd done something with it affected the way I tasted
did
things, and
they
that
alter your nose? Because sometimes
yeah, a
nose
little bit, a
and
little
taste.
bit. They I don't know, like not like this, because
Hmm.
but they did. She pulled the lip up a little farther because men's
Okay.
the lips are spread a little bit farther. So she pulled it up, not enough. Could have used a little more. Like, thank you, Dr. Lee. Um, she's
It's never enough.
incredible. It's never no.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do the neck too. It's like, well, you can take 20 years off me, lady.
That's a
Could
different
you just slip it
department.
in? Could you just slip it in? So, no, that's elective surgery.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
a
different.
different department.
It's
Yeah.
elective. Yeah, we're not. That's not your
Medicare doesn't
dysphoria.
cover
Isn't that
that.
your dysphoria that you're old is welcome to the club.
You earned that. You
Yeah,
earned that. Yeah,
welcome.
yeah, yeah.
So
So how long until you felt comfortable to be in public and be comfortable with your look? And
right away, you
really?
know what?
Okay.
I got to tell you, Bennett. You know when
You were
when
proud of
I
it.
yeah, because when I
Yeah.
first started coming out, like when I was now I was dressing in public, right? And the first time, and it was like that day that the first day I just started coming out in public. It was the first person to laugh at me was an alcoholic in the gutter, you know, and I'm a sober alcoholic, so I don't think I'm better than any other alcoholic or person for that matter, really. Everybody has different circumstances. I don't have to like somebody to have compassion for their situation. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I
Nice.
usually have no problem. And with houseless people, that's I
Yeah.
have nothing but compassion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's horrible. But he's in his wine, in his urine and his vomit, and
Mm.
he's laughing at me,
Right, right,
pointing and
right.
laughing at me.
Kind
And
of
I'm going,
ironic. Yeah.
yeah. I go, well, you might want all the friends you might not want to make any more enemies. And it wasn't like that. No, that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
pretentious. That sounds bad to say that. Yeah, but it made me laugh. You know, I
Well,
felt grateful that I was sober because I always feel that way when I see people in their cups because I'm like, I could be that person.
right.
I'm
Sure. For
not,
the
I'm
grace
a
of
drink
God. No
away.
lie.
24 years sober. I'm 24 and a half years sober. I'm still a drink away. One drink, half a joint, so anyway, but that was my experience. And then more difficult things started to happen. And then that experience that I had, that spiritual experience with God, I started seeing it a little more clearly in real life,
Mm.
and it was sometimes shocking. That band fired me. There were other reasons, and I just a lot of things changed. I was surprised that people, creative people, musicians would hold on to those kind of attitudes. I mean, like there was more than I expected.
I was going to
Like,
ask you about that if musicians were more compassionate, but you just kind of answered that. Not necessarily.
not necessarily, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
I mean, you got
interesting.
yeah, I mean, you got Ted Nugent, right?
True.
But what am I got? What am I going to do? Kanye West, I think the same thing. I think he's pretty deeply homophobic. But
Yeah.
so it's been interesting, but it kind of opened things up because I was like getting tired of the pretending to be somebody else
Yeah.
gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss the big crowds though. I do. That's what that's like. You play in front of 6,000 people. It's fucking
Sure. Sure.
amazing. Um, but
That love just comes right back at you.
and you're making that connection, and
Yeah.
that's really spiritual, and people are
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
moving, and it's a that
It's not an ego thing. It's a
no,
connection thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's a connection thing. Yeah, you just feel so,
Yeah.
you're in the right place. It's just,
Right.
it's,
You're in the
it makes
flow.
sense that the guys that, the ones at the very top who could have retired, decades ago still do it. There's a reason why. It just feels so good, right? You're in that spot, you're in that fucking zone. And so I missed that, but something else happened. The I did my bottom surgery, and that was really brutal. That
Mm.
was tough. They don't. Oh, I want to dispel some other things that people probably don't know because, and it's not their fault because I didn't know it either. Um, they didn't chop my thing off. They don't do that. Um, they remove the testicles. They use the penile shaft is becomes your vaginal canal. The testicles become part of the labia minora and major. And I hate to be so graphic about it, but they rebuild your whole thing down there. So nobody chopped off my dick, as your transphobes will say that shit. It's like, no, asshole, it's not exactly what they do. But also there's people, most people don't know this either. I feel like I want to be an educator in a certain way about this stuff. That's why I was so happy to do this for you,
Yeah.
right? I went because I had so many friends, and like, we you knew me as a man most of my life, a major part of my life, and even I had to relearn certain things and dispel certain preconceptions and prejudices I had about what it meant to be transgender or queer in general. And I had to really do an awakening of my own. I had to like come to terms, and it wasn't just that. It was a major, just an understanding, that there are that gender identity, like much like sexual orientation, is it, it, it there's variations, right? Like a RuPaul is actually non-binary. So RuPaul is comfortable being a her, and it just as comfortable being a her as a him.
Mhm.
He, she. That's like, and so we're new pronouns, which makes me laugh when people get upset. I don't want to have to learn these new programs. We all got to learn new things all the time. It should be a fun process. It doesn't have to be like something. Oh, how dare you make me? I always got to
I'm
laugh.
just always afraid of saying the wrong thing and then just
That's what
getting
you don't.
flamed, and it's like
I want no.
have to be
See
so
that's
careful.
no. You don't have to be because I really
Yeah.
don't. I don't think there's any transgender people that would have a problem with you doing that, like figuring it out. They would like want to help you.
I would
We
hope
get
if your heart is good, they can tell that and feel
yeah,
that.
of
And
course.
if you
Yeah.
you make a faux pas, they're maybe accepting and
They're
quick to
they're
correct with love and understand it's not a slur in any way.
absolutely.
A lot of times I call you man because I have my
I know.
jazz thing,
It doesn't bother me. It
background.
doesn't
And
phase me,
then
man.
and
I love you the
you call
same
me
as
the
much
same,
before. No, it
and
doesn't.
a lot of times I
It
go,
doesn't.
oh, gee,
I'm still that person. That's why I'm
you,
still
you
that
know, so
person. It's just my gender has changed.
it
That's all.
doesn't, uh, it's just an expression. It has no meaning beyond just, uh,
Man is quite all right. Okay.
y-
Hey, man, that's quite all right.
yeah, yeah,
And girls call
yeah.
themselves all kinds of things.
And I would
So
never on purpose say anything, unflattering or insulting.
Bennett,
I would,
that goes without saying, my friend.
yeah,
That goes
okay.
without
Well,
saying. But I
I
want to
say
also
that to
tell you,
you, and I say that
yes,
to the people who might be watching, that it's really common for people who are learning from you right now, like I am, that we understand that as long as you try, I think, as long as you try to understand, that's the key. And I think that people like you are so kind and so understanding that you're willing to help pull us along to really, through this complete and really revealing explanation of your experience, which I'm so grateful for you doing this. And for the people watching and other people who might be in your position who can really learn and get comfort, that you're a role model for a lot of people out there. And so I think you're doing many services right now, and one of them is teaching us, how to understand and how to not feel like to feel comfortable and uh, realize that as long as whatever you say is said with love and with a good intention,
that's
that
it.
that it's okay. It's okay. We can always learn, you know. Um, uh, you mentioned something to me once about how before you were mentioning Arizona and how you were afraid to drive into Arizona dressed as a woman, as and you're
Dressed
comfortable
as myself now.
as
Let's say
yeah
that is myself
as yourself,
as I was at that time, and
and
not in disguise as a man. Yeah.
right, and then you had a gig. Can you talk about this? Where was your gig in Arizona, and
Oh God.
what was the difference from your destination to your getting there?
Well, first of all, it was interesting. I'm always afraid when I go into a state like that. Red states, they scare the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? Because I never knew what white male privilege really meant until I crossed over. There really is such a thing. Now,
Interesting.
it's to varying degrees. If you're a wealthy white male, then it's even better. But it doesn't mean that because you're a white male that you don't the system doesn't fuck you over, because absolutely right now it's fucking everybody over. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not the same. level of fear when you go out there. It's
Yeah.
not the same level of feel. You relate to the fact that life got a lot. I was already just when I was going to gigs there anyway, I only felt safe once we did a lot of gigs on reservations.
Okay.
And
In Arizona.
yeah, there was the
Okay.
Apache reservation, and there were is there another reservation? There might be only Apaches in Arizona. I know we've done it, Indian casinos all over the place. But I only felt safe when I got to the reservation going through certain areas. I felt like I it's like I can't wait to get there,
Right.
because they don't care. They're cool.
The Indians were more accepting of you.
Yeah, yeah, First Nations people
Native
are nice
Indians.
people.
Yeah.
They're funny too. They have a good sense of humor. So
American Indians, Native
yeah,
Americans.
yeah,
Let's
native.
be
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was interesting. But anyway, it was Puma, Arizona. And I'm going down there and it's like I drive by this big gun mart. It's Arizona. It's like actually wanted to buy something, It's like just for shits and giggles, but I knew better. And anyway, we went down to the gig and I got there and the band leader was like, "You should tell the guys in the band, right?" And he's standing there with me as the other guys in the band are coming in. I'm like, I had big reservations about it, but you know, it's a character defect I'm working on where I just went along with it. I shouldn't have. And I told him, and people, they were all shocked. Didn't go over like, "Oh, congratulations." It wasn't like with Survivor of the Battle of the Bulge.
Mhm.
It wasn't like my ex, in his youth gangster friend, you know.
They didn't have those experiences to educate them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just weren't they weren't as nice people. And I kind of shocked me, because and then the gig didn't go well and they fired me afterwards and it was a whole big thing. But I'd been with them for 15 years, so I knew it was like I'm with this band for 15 years at that time, and then they're just going adios.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of sudden. I don't want you to think that I remember. I don't want you to think that I'm firing you because you're a transgender. And I just said, "Oh, okay. I guess you're firing me because I'm transgender." You know what I mean? Say,
Right.
just go ahead and say it out loud because I just heard you. I just heard you say it. How those things are. They turn into blessings.
Mm.
And I've changed as a musician, and as having gone through this
Well
experience,
said.
yeah, I mean, it's opened me up to like instead of being the person that always wanted to prove to people that I could play so many genres of music and I could play it well, you know what I mean? I wanted to be the versatile, hired musician and hired
Well-rounded
gun.
musician.
Yeah, hired
Yeah.
gun, well-rounded musician, which is admirable and it's a
Yeah.
good thing and it made me better. But then I just realized, now I just want to go with what feels right at the moment. I
Yeah.
want to do some interesting things. I want to just be. I don't want to waste what extra precious life I have because I didn't start living in my true self till I was 58.
Yeah.
You know, and life is life is very short, man. We know that. So it's like I just want to do artistic, fulfilling stuff.
What are
I
you
don't know if
working
I
on
would.
now? Tell me a little bit about that musically. What's going on musically?
Fortunately, the band just broke up, so I'm looking for something new again. It had reached
Okay.
its end. It was 3 years old, and it had
Okay.
reached its end. So it
Right.
was it was I always it was there are no perfect situations, and I always feel like and because I'm a deist, I always believe like God has you where He needs you at a certain time, and then He removes you and puts you somewhere else.
Mm.
But as long as I'm in the space of where I'm in a space of gratitude, I'm in a space of service,
Yeah.
I'm keeping my side of the street. I'm treating other people with dignity and respect. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna land in the place where God wants me to be. Be of service. Like this is. I'm so grateful to do this. This is like
Yeah.
this is a privilege.
You
And I
are.
want to thank you for
You are
that.
being
It's
of
a
service right now.
privilege.
You really
It's a
are.
it's a privilege, and I really do want it
Same.
because I I love you, man. They got that. I want to tell you though, those feelings that you're feeling. Transgender people feel those same things. They feel like they want you to know that they uh, they want you to know that they care about you too, that as a human being, that they have respect for you as a human being too. They're not mad that you don't know all those pronouns. We don't, there's a we get like we get portrayed um as it's sort of like a Hollywood exploitation type of portrayal of us. We're the tranny hooker. Tranny's a slur, by the way. Don't ever say that because we're
Okay.
not transsexuals. It's not a sexual, it's a gender identity, not sexual orientation. But anyway,
Got
just
it.
a heads up because you didn't know.
Yeah.
But most people don't know. They're not going to, there's 0.01% of us. And, most people aren't going to meet us on one-to-one term. It's not going to happen to most people, or they may see us, they may not be recognized. But the bottom line is that we understand that these pronouns and different terminology, this is new. It's as new to us as it is to you guys, to people aren't, to other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say man, it doesn't even think. I just feel like with you, man, we're just man, you know what I mean? I don't look at it as you're misgendering me at all.
Yeah.
I never got that feeling from you.
It's
And
meant as a term of affection, actually.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And I take it that way. Even if you said dude, I wouldn't, it wouldn't cross
I
my mind.
that one I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm holding back on. That one I think is I'm
Women,
learning. I'm
especially,
learning.
well, younger generation women do at times call each other dude,
Right.
because
Right.
they're a
Right.
little
Right.
bit more,
Right.
you know, and so you're welcome. I mean, Ben, and I have an infinite amount of love and respect for you,
No,
and
thank
I
you.
know where your heart's at.
Thank
That's the
you.
thing, and
Thank
and I think you said when you talk to you would just want them to know that where your heart's at. Transgender people feel the same way. They just want you to know where their heart's at.
you. Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
There's the connection, man. There's the connection because they want you to know that it's okay. Ask me a question.
This brings up an interesting subject. Um, a couple of things. One, you right now, you're in Santa Monica, California, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And you're in a safe zone.
Yes.
California, Western California, New York, these are more liberal areas. For me,
Mhm.
I see it as there's more influx of minorities there. You've got little Tokyo, little Armenia,
Mhm.
Koreatown, so there's like you're not going to be so xenophobic because you're going to run into all kind of different people. So it seems to be a lot more accepting. And plus the
Yes.
the incredibly large Hispanic communities from all
Mhm.
over Latin America. And so you've got a safe zone where you are. Uh, how far does that extend for you? And you mentioned Arizona is not necessarily, which is the next state to the east of California on the south, is not necessarily the same kind of vibe. Uh, where are you in your comfort zone uh, logistically?
I
If you,
think, well, the one cool thing about the state, not everybody is, there are parts like Inland Empire and Central Valley, which are like, it's hostile territory. The The one
Right.
oasis out in Inland Empire is Palm Springs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to go a long. There's a long ways between here of the where Los Angeles County ends and Palm Springs. You know, it's a bit of a drive. So,
About 2.5 hours. Yeah.
yeah, and but the thing with California, I feel extremely safe. Any blue state, because like in California, you know, we had the greatest legislators, and the governor's amazing. They just like they put our rights in the California Constitution. I'm
Yeah.
constitutionally protected, specifically as a transgender person,
Yeah.
and all LGBTQ people are, but they're mentioned. Like there's no judge would look at it and go, well, they didn't really say it. In our Constitution, it spells it out.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
legally and we're constitutionally protected and by laws that are pretty, you know, if somebody fucks with you, anybody here for whatever reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in California, man. We don't
Mhm.
go for that shit. You know, we just
So
don't go for
are
it.
you, do you feel limited in your mobility that
Yeah,
that that
sometimes
maybe,
I
yeah, please.
sometimes I'm in fear. So
Mm,
like where I
in
got that
fear.
is in fear, yeah, because which is, it's not good. I try not to be, but you know, the like those expensive in-ears, I had to go down to Irvine to get them, changed, fixed. And those you know, the nervousness went away right away. There really isn't a problem, not in California, really. I don't know. I haven't, maybe if I spent a long time in Bakersfield or something. 'Cause I have a friend from there. Actually,
Yeah.
she got the brunt of it, but she's pretty tough. I
Mhm.
did. I haven't really gone back to Arizona since. I haven't been to Texas since. I haven't been. I when I went to last time I went to Texas, I hadn't gone through the process. Didn't even know what was going on. I was working. I was in the stages. I was still working through it, trying to figure it out. And so I haven't. I know that there's some states where it's really scary. It's just like it's just not good. But I haven't. I mean, some people would say it's an individual thing. Some people would say, "The hell with it. I'm going to go where I want when I want to go. I'm
Right.
just going to be myself." And you could do that. I mean, there's some. I mean, I admire that, and I may, like again, life's short, man. I may just, really, I don't want to live in fear. That's a thing that's not good.
Sure.
That's like the root of all our defective
Yeah.
behaviors, our maladjusted behaviors. You know what I mean? And if you're in a constant state of fight or flight, that's physically
Yeah.
not good for you, right? So I don't know. This is a thing I'm going through. I'm also going through. I go back and forth. I have like a resentment against the culture and generation we grew up in, because I feel like that part of my life was stolen. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And but it's important to realize that it wasn't safe. I in fact I had to, work through this with my therapist, which was I have to honor that part, my mind for protecting me. That part of my mind that said no, no, because that part just knew that it was not safe.
right.
So I honor that. So it's an interesting journey. It's been an interesting journey, and I think whether whatever people are facing in their life, if they, it's really good to find a community of like-minded people or people going through a similar thing, so that you have a support community.
I
That's
wanted to
really
ask you about
important.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, really, a supportive community is really important. That's why I'm very comfortable in the west part of LA. You
Yeah.
know, it's just
Well, it's
like,
really the coastal areas
yeah,
are good. San Francisco has a large gay population, so that's got to be completely safe. I imagine
Yeah.
down to San Diego is probably
Yeah.
okay. They're pretty liberal.
Yeah.
Um, and so you've got that safe zone there.
Mhm.
And what do you see as your future for your future? What do you see
Yeah. That's a good.
logistically? I know you'll always play music wherever you
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want you to be happy, you know. So
There's like one thing, another fear that, there's been just in a Western liberal democracies, there's been this, we don't want to get too political, but there's been this, there's a lot of fascist movements going on, and far right fascistic kind of movements, which are like nationalist movements.
incredible removing of human rights. Like
Yeah,
what we grew up with is now in jeopardy or is already gone.
yeah, it's
Mm.
like regressing.
And that's worldwide too.
Yes, that's what,
Yeah.
and
Nationalism and
the
all this
great,
stuff.
and we're talking about the great liberal democracies of the West,
Yeah.
America, and Europe, where this stuff is going on, Italy and France.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and so as a person, now I'm really attuned to it now. I was always human, it was always about the human rights and stuff, even in my ignorance at certain points. But you know, there was now it can be scary sometimes because I look at the world and I look at that map of safe places for LGBTQ people, and
Yeah.
I see that 80% of the world is dangerous.
Wow.
But again, I think that's the space. I think that's where I'm at now, is like working through those fears. I think we're going to overcome the threat here in America now. I think that they overstepped, the Christo fascist overstepped. So I think that they, with the abortion stuff, so
Yeah.
even Republican women want to be able to have IV in vitro fertilization. They still want the morning after pill. You know what I mean? They still want to be able to decide when and if they're going to have babies. So I think that so that's good news for me, as an LGBTQ person, and you know, because because that goes in the direction that we want to go as a society, and I'll feel safer in this country, where I was very worried about it, as you know, just even a couple weeks ago when we got
Yeah.
talked.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was very worried about, like, where am I going to be safe? Where can I go and I could be myself and I'm okay, and that's, I don't want to have to live that way.
No.
I want to, really, it's it. I mean, I know people say that I have a lot of courage, but if I had more courage, maybe I wouldn't give a damn. We'll have to see. I'll keep you filled in on that one. See
Yeah.
where I get there.
Yeah. Well, we're always in touch. So, and I appreciate that greatly. You're a
Me
great
too.
friend, and I really appreciate our friendship.
Thank you.
Knowing somebody for so long, I don't know how many people you have a friendship for decades,
Not
and
too many.
just develops a depth that really we can talk about anything as we pretty much have done today. And
Yeah.
you know, thank you for leaving out some of the stuff that with some of our little adventures and road
It
trips
was fun. It was
and
fun. We did like
things like that.
I would.
Uh,
That's the rainbow
the time we
gathering.
went
Oh
to
my
rainbow
god! I
gatherings
was just thinking about it the other day. Yeah, it's
Eastern
so much fun.
Washington at 18, and that was quite an adventure. We done a couple of trips to Big Sur and some other things that were great. And yeah, I just want
Yeah,
to thank you so much for taking the time today to explain to everybody and to share yourself, your heart with me. And I love you very much, and
same
I
here.
wish you nothing but the best. And yeah, just keep playing, and Sorry to hear your band broke up, but I'm sure you'll find something else happening soon.
It
Get
was
into
its time.
some other
It
good
was its
situations.
time.
Yeah,
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 I will.
yeah,
I will.
yeah, yeah. So, hey, I send you a giant hug
Same here.
and thank you from the bottom of my heart for me,
Thank you, Bennett.
for anyone else who might be watching today. And you've done a great service for all of us by
Good.
sharing your personal experiences. So
Good.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bennett. You too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. All
Okay.
right. Much love.
Much love.
Take care, Robyn.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.